Hi there, thanks for joining me for the very first episode of Super Saturdays here on Board Game Maniacs. Playing Marvel Crisis Protocol from Atomic Mass Games. And in this episode, we are going to be taking on one of the ultimate encounters. And the ultimate encounter is called All Will Be Metal. And we're fighting the infamous Ultron. This game was downloaded off of the AtomicMassGames.com website under the rules, and they have a couple of them there. Right now they have All Will Be Metal, and then one that I'm looking forward to playing in the future, which is one for the Hulk. But right now, we are going to stick with All Is Metal. Let's talk about the specifics of this mission before we get started. For this mission, Ultron is up against a party of two squads, I guess is the best way to put it, where he has 4 doomsday devices set around the city, and he has to trigger all 4 of them. And if he manages to trigger all 4 of them and get them to go off, the city is destroyed and Ultron wins. You can find out all the information, such as what I have printed out here, by going to the Atomic Mass website. That's AtomicMassGames.com. And click on rules, and if you scroll down, you'll see the section for All Will Be Metal, and everything is there you need. There's also like the Hulk and everything else, and it's gonna be great. So anyhow, I got the board all set up, got Ultron, he is there, as seen before. Kind of changed the order around on these guys. So this is kind of the Crisis Team number 2, and that's Crisis Team number 1. And I kind of ordered, you had to go from the edge of the board up to 3 away for the range. But I kind of put these 2 guys that are fast, so Black Widow and Baron Zemo is super fast. I'm going to probably try to charge them up as fast as I can. And Spider-Man is fast too as well, so he may be doing the same thing, while the others are going to concentrate on searching around on all the terrain or going up and claiming some of the doomsday devices. Because it all gets victory points. I got hiccups again. Jeez. Anyhow, let's go into turn 1, and we start off with the Crisis Team. The dreaded Red Skull is going to go first, and he moves at a speed of medium. So pretty much what he's doing is he's going to go. Woo. Now, because you can search for terrified citizens in the locations, it is an interact, it says interact, so with the keyword of interact, so you have to spend the power. Don't count as an action, but you spend the power so you can interact. So he's going to interact with this building, which is a size 3. So he gets 3 dice, he has to get a wild or a crit, and if he does, then he found a citizen. Looking for a wild or crit, and he's got 2 wilds, but you can't say he found 2 citizens. They can only carry 1 citizen at a time, so he does find 1 citizen. That's the power that he spent to search. I didn't show it on camera, but I figured I would. Because we all did the power phase off camera, and each of them have 1 power, including Ultron himself. And you can see here, the citizens here, we got the search token saying that he has it. So that was 1, he did that, so he has 1 more action left. And I'm thinking what he's going to do is the Red Skull is just going to start trying to move up. Whoops. Hitting everything here. As close as he can to try to go and drop it off at the home base. So again, this stays with him. You could put this onto the card instead, but I like putting stuff like, not the wounds or anything, but I like putting such things as like the citizen token to that there, so we know who has citizens, especially if we're playing a 2-player game. But we're playing solo, so it don't really matter as much, but I like getting into the same motion. And you can see the evacuated thing is there, so nobody can search that for the rest of this round. Whew. Okay, so I got to activate 2 more. And after I activate 2 more of the Crisis team, and it could be on the same team as this, or in that it don't really matter, then Ultron will activate. So after I activate the 2 Crisis teams, 2 more miniatures for the Crisis team. I've got to be specific on this. We'll be back and I'll show you what I did. I've activated 2 more of the Crisis team. I decided to do this side. So Doc Ock, what he did is he went up to here, and because this was a size 2 dumpster, he rolled 2 dice, and he had a wild, so he successfully found a petrified or terrified citizen. And then for his move, he moved up here, because they do have a medium movement. And you only have to be within 1 to search an object. Crossbones, however, he's slow, so he spent his 2 movement to move up to here. He spent his power costs and claimed this Doomsday device as one of the Crisis team property, but they're there. They kind of disconnected the wires. Pretty much what it is. So you can see 3 of them has activated, and now it is on to Ultron to activate. There's a lot of stuff for Ultron to do. We'll explain that now. At the beginning of every Ultron phase, what happens is the first thing you do is he has to roll dice equal to the difficulty set into the mission. And we are playing at normal difficulty, so you get 3 red dice. You got to roll it, and it'll tell you what to do, and you have to go in specific orders. Now, if by chance Ultron claimed one of the Doomsday devices by putting like a token onto it of his, and we're just going by the Cabal token for this because that's it, he would get an extra die for everyone that has a Cabal token onto it when he rolled at the beginning of his turn, which could be very, very troublesome. But right now, it's his first activation, so he has 3 dice. So let's go dice box and roll and see what happens. First thing, okay, so this is his results, and we have to go on the card to find out what happens now. On the cheat card, under Doomsday Device, Ultron Master of Metal has assembled a mighty Doomsday Device to destroy the city. At the start of each of the Crisis threat player's turn, which is Ultron, they roll dice equal to the number specified the difficulty level, which is 3. Add 1 die to this roll for every Doomsday Cancel they are controlling. Consult the list below for the effects of each result, resolving the effect only once, no matter how many of the given results are rolled. The effects are resolved in order they appear in the list below. So, do we have a blank or a skull? No, so we're going to ignore that one. I'm going to go over it. Do we have a shield token, which is right here? So that gets put aside, and we look on the list. And for the shield, it says 1 path to peace. Remove all terrified citizen tokens from the battlefield. There's none on the battlefield right now because none of the heroes that have them, so the only one is Red Skull has it, and he didn't drop it, so he's fine. The Cosmic Threat player scores 1 victory for each citizen's removed in this way. So that's not what happens here. When I read this first off, I thought maybe even if it's on the board as in if they're holding it, but it's not. It's only if they are dropped on the board. So yeah, we did that. Then the next thing we have here is a hit. And we don't have a hit, we have a crit. So we don't have to worry about that one because it don't count as that. And then we have the wild symbol. And it says a better age. The Cosmic Threat player chooses a terrain feature with an evacuated token on it. If there are no evacuated tokens on the terrain feature, they may choose any terrain features the Crisis team places a terrified citizen token within 1 of the chosen terrain feature. Then the terrain feature is destroyed and removed from the battlefield. Ultron Master Metal gains power equal to the size of the terrain feature. Ooh, that's interesting. Then we have these bigger cheat sheets that says All Will Be Metal programming card, and on the other side it says Doomsday Device. And we are dealing with a better age at the moment. So it tells you here, when selecting the terrain feature to be destroyed, prioritize the following options in order. Within 2 of the home base. 2 within 2 of Ultron. 3, a large size. So first off, the first thing we want to look at is any of the evacuated tokens are within range 2 of the home base. There's the home base, and you can see none have the evacuated token on top of the the train piece, so therefore number 1 is gone. And then 2 from Ultron. Ultron is right here. He didn't even move yet, and there's none there, because if we recall, the only 2 that have evacuate tokens on is a dumpster and one of the brick buildings. In that case, we went down 2 at the list for a better age. So again, number 1 within 2, number 2 is within 2 of Ultron. And so the third one is largest size. If there is still a tie, the player must choose which train feature is destroyed. And you can see here, the only thing here, it's not within range, but it is a dumpster and a building. So therefore, this building is going to be destroyed. So we're going to take the evacuation token off of this. And I said these buildings are size 3, so then Ultron is going to get 3 power. Ultron has a special card for this. And I'm not going over all of this. You'll see this when things happen. But one thing to note is when he's going to do any of his attacks, because you have to follow a chart that tells you what to do, you don't pay costs, energy costs for this, a power cost, because Ultron uses it for free, which is interesting. So there's this 3 power that he gets to use during the game. So 4 in total. And that is the wild one that's gone. Now all we have left is the crit, or exploding dice, as some people like to call it. And it's called Devastating Barrage. Again, I'm going from this part here. The Cosmic Threat player chooses 3 Crisis Team characters within range 3 of the home base token. The chosen character suffers 1 damage and gains 1 power. You can see there, home base is here. There's no of the Crisis Team here. And you can see if we measure this with the range, so there's nobody even close enough to this, so they don't take any wounds or get any powers. And that ends all of the stuff that happens before Ultron even activates. Now, I'll show you how Ultron activates. For Ultron's activation, you always start on the programming function side first, and then you go from there. Again, it's double-sided. There's also the assault function. And you can see priority programming. And priority programming here will tell you if you get into any issues where they are equal for the targets and what have you. But anyhow, we're going to continue on with this. So programming function is a character holding a terrified citizen within 5 of Ultron. So the only one holding the terrified citizen is Red Skull, but he is far from 5 of Ultron. So because that says, if yes, you do that. If no, you do this one. And this is the next one. Is there a terrified citizen token within 5 of Ultron? And you can see there's obviously no terrified citizen within 5 of Ultron, so you get down to if no. Is there a Doomsday Council not controlled by Ultron, not within 5 of Ultron? Remember, it's not. So it's not one that is within 5, it's one that is not within 5 of Ultron. So you can see here, that's going to be possibly 5 within 5 of Ultron. We'll measure it to find out. I kind of moved, I'm sorry. So yeah, you can see that is within 5 of Ultron, and that is within 5 of Ultron. But you see this one and that one are not within 5 of Ultron. So we finally got a yes. So I'm just grabbing it here. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. So it says, if yes, advance Ultron towards the Council. Use matter transference to place Ultron within one of the Doomsday Council if needed. Ultron interacts with the Council. If you look at matter transference, which is right here, it says place this character within range 2 of the current position. This superhero can be used, this superpower can only be used once per turn and it costs 2 energy. He definitely has enough, but the thing is, he is definitely, if he does matter transference of 2, it's not really going to make much of a difference to him, but he's going to do it because he's going to get further down here. Also, too, as well as he's going to do his basic movement of medium. So first we're going to do the movement of medium. So he's kind of just advancing, like so. Now he pays the cost of 2, I'm just exchanging it, for the matter transference, and we're going to move him another 2, range 2, towards the Doomsday device. And you can see there, that's another 2, so he just kind of matter transferred to there, and in the meantime, he knocked down one of the light poles by accident. Now, because we're still in the programming function, It says, if needed, Ultron interacts with the council, but he's not even close enough. And then it says, then, you can enter, it says, perform an assault function. So if we flip this over, so this pretty much was his first action plus his superpower. And now you have to go to the flow chart of this. After I go through the flow chart of this one, I'll explain everything on camera. I want to make a slight rules correction here. And this is under one of the cheat cards that you get. It's called Programming and Assault Function. If you read down a little bit, it does say, where am I at? I'm kind of quiet here, sorry. All right. Some functions require Ultron to spend power, but in this version of the Ultimate Encounter, Ultron does not gain or spend power. He can always use the attacks or superpowers listed in his function. Because of that, from where he used matter transference to go the extra 2, he had to have spent 2 energy or 2 power to do it, which I did do because he had 4 and then he had 2 on his card. But judging from that cheat sheet, it says that when he does this, he don't spend power and he don't gain the power. So in that case, for the matter transference where it costs 2 to do, and it does say that he can use matter transference on the cheat card, so therefore he don't have to spend that energy, so he's still back to 4 energy. I just want to be aware of that. Hopefully I'm not going to keep doing that, spending the power when he does an attacks or what have you. But for interacting, he's going to be spending power. When we get to that, we'll decide. But I'm thinking when he interacts with like features and that, and if it's not on the cheat sheet, then it's going to cost power. But if we come up with that issue, we'll resolve it then. But right now, that was just a rectifying situation that we did for Ultron. After going through all of the lists on both the programming and assault, the only thing he could do, because he couldn't assault anybody, nobody was within range, so it said to flip it back over and perform another programming function. And I went through the list, and the one programming function, because remember, he was here, would be if there was within 5 of Ultron a Doomsday device token, which is here. In there, you are going to advance towards it. So a second action is to just advance medium to here, and that ends Ultron's first activation. Going at the all will be metal track, you are going to put 1 because he activated once. So now we're going to activate 3 more, and then he'll get to go again, and then activate 3 more, and then he'll get to go again, and that will end the turn. Once all 3 of these are filled, the turn is over. I'm going to activate Iron Man. I already have the check mark there by him, but the first thing is he's going to interact with this to see if he can find any terrified citizens. Have to be within 1 to interact, which you can see here he is. And the size of this is a 2, so he gets 2 dice to roll. He needs a wild or a crit. He don't, so therefore he failed at searching for the terrified citizen. So we place that there, which means nobody can search there. That wasn't even an action. That was just one thing for him that he did. Now he has 2 actions because that was just like an interaction thing that don't count as an action. Now what Iron Man can do is he can either, I'm just moving his activation token away, he can move up to here, but he don't have the power, he don't have any power because he spent his 1 power to interact with this and failed, but he could go up there to take over Doomsday device on his next activation. But I think what he's going to do there, instead of moving up there, he's just going to move around here, like so, just so he's kind of within the 1 of the car, because you can see he's like, is anybody in there? I just searched, but I thought I heard something. So he's going to stay there, and he's not going to do anything else. He's just relaxing and setting up so he can search again. Let's go on to our next activation for the Crisis team. Going to activate Captain America. He has a movement of medium, is it? I'm just looking at his card there. Yeah, it's a medium. So he is going to go bloop, just like that, for 1 action, and his second action, he wants to move this way because he don't want to get any part of Ultron right yet. So he's going whoopee, just like that. He is definitely within 1, so he's going to spend his 1 power to roll dice. This is a size 5, like I said. It's a bigger building. I know I think it goes to size 4, but I'm saying this is a size 5 because it is a fairly large building. And he gets 5 dice to roll. He gets a wild or a crit. He finds a citizen. 5 dice to roll to see if he can find a citizen. And just a correction, the largest in the game, as of now that I could find, is a size 5. And that building is classified as a large building, so it is a size 5 because it's wide. Okay, here goes. Wild or crit, wild or crit. Got a wild there. So, yep, he finds a citizen. There is a citizen. I didn't record him paying the power before he searched off camera, but you know that he paid it. So he's got no energy left or any power left. So he has done his activation. And then we're on to the last of the 3 for this round to activate until Ultron activates. Captain Marvel is going to go next. And she is going to simply do a movement of medium. Oops, I keep hitting the trees and everything else. So she goes there. And she's also, you can see there, it goes around the corner a bit. And she's going to go right there for her 2 actions. And now she's going to spend the power to search in this building, the auto repair building, to see if she can find a citizen. Before I do that, I forgot to put an evacuation token right there. And now I'm going to put one here because Captain Marvel is doing that. So let's go to the box and roll it. And this size building is, I think I said a 4 because it is bigger than the Daily Planet by a little bit. No, we'll say this is a size 3 building. Why? Why not? Captain Marvel doing her search, so we need a wild or a crit. And luckily she got a wild, so she found a terrified citizen as well. Good job. Terrified citizen, boom, boom, right there. She's got it. And she moved and she interacts. She still has 1 more activation to do. And I think she's going to move right there. One thing I want to talk about too as well is you're probably thinking that how could she move twice because she got a terrified citizen? She moved once and then she found the citizen. So therefore, now she can only move once per turn because they're holding terrified citizens and they are they're heavier, so they move slower. And there's her activation token. She is donezo. So that ends the 3 activations still for the next part of the Crisis team. And then we're back on to Ultron's 2nd activation in the first turn. Got to roll the 3 dice and see what happens. So I'll roll it, do everything, come back and tell you what it is. After rolling, you can see there's a skull, wild, and a crit. And a lot of big things happen during this for his 2nd activation. Oh, to sum it all up pretty much, you can see here, there's the Stark building is missing because one of the things he had to do is destroy 1 of the buildings, which he totally annihilated. It blew up, but a citizen that was hiding right out, at least range 1 of it, so I placed it here. And you can see here too as well that because of it, he's rolling, he claimed 1 of the devices. The Doomsday devices, and that's pretty much all the big things that happened, but you can see there's a big gap there now. Very, very scary stuff. And that's even before Ultron didn't even activate yet, as in like his 2 actions, so he's going to do that now. So let's see what he is going to do. Going through the flowchart. Pretty much what Ultron did is he has a power of flight and within 5 of him. So he came up here and now he is actually unfortunately going to attack the Red Skull because he is carrying Terrified Citizen and see if he destroys him to make him drop that Terrified Citizen. He is attacking with his metallic talons and it is range to which he is. It is 6 dice going into him. Oh, that's going to hurt. And it also says too as well that he used a Folly of Man when attacking this. So with the Folly of Man, before rolling attack dice, you may use the superpower. During this attack, his character adds blank in its attack rolls to its total success. So any blanks, it counts as a success. I think Red Skull is going to have some major problems here. So, nope. He's got 2 of those. It's a blank. Oh, so the blank counts. Oh boy. So he's got 2 crits. He gets to roll them a die for another crit. And that's it. So therefore, in total, he's hitting the red skull, because I'm just going to turn that there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 hits going towards red skull. So he got to defend against 4 hits with his metallic talon, which is a physical attack. Red skull has 4 for physical defense, so there's the 4 dice. Remember, 4 hits are going into him, and he is going to block none. So he's taking the full brunt of that attack of 4 damage. See from the card, Red Skull's health is 6, so he is down to 2 left. Oh, and he had no energy for nothing and ain't going to counterattack or what have you. That is horrible because Red Skull just took a really bad hit. That ends the second activation of Red Skull. Now, during the activation and rolling the dice and so forth for the Ultron, he does get 1 victory point because, I can't remember what it said, but it does say that he automatically gets 1 victory point. I'll see if I can find it to explain that because it's good to know that. Oh, during the secondary power reserve step. That's what he did. He got 1 victory point because he rolled the result for that. So that gave him his 1 victory. All right, so that ends the second activation. First turn for Ultron, and we're going on to the next part of the Crisis Team activation. We're going to activate Spider-Man first. I already know what Spider-Man is doing. He is going to move his large 3. Kind of hit him out of the way here. I'm knocking everything over. Blah! He goes up here. He's going to spend his 1 power to interact with that citizen who is scared. So that's his 1 power. Now he's going up here to the home base for his second move, because he can only move once per turn when he carries the citizen, but he moved up 1 because he didn't have the citizen. We can only move 1. And it don't cost any power to drop off the citizen. So he drops him off there and he gets 1 victory point for the Crisis Team. Let's activate Baron Zemo himself. So he is going to go, because he moves a large, because he's pretty fast. He's 1 action. Second action, you know, he's going to move up to here. What? Sorry about that. Now he is going to spend his 1 energy to try to search this large building of 5, size 5, to try to find a citizen. 5 dice. And does he get a wild or a crit? He got 1 crit. He was lucked out, so he found the citizen. And there is the citizen. Just like that. Baron Zemo has done it, but it don't cost any action or not to pay anything to drop off the citizen. And you can see there, he is that close to the home base that he's able to drop off the citizen for free and get a victory point. And that brings the Crisis Team to 2 victory points, still playing the game because they dropped off 2 citizens, and Ultron has the 1 victory point. Last one to activate for the Crisis Team is the Black Widow. She has a movement of large. So I'm just going to maneuver the template up a little bit so that she can go whoop for 1. She don't want to get close to Ultron. She has stealth, so as long as she stays out of range 3 or higher of Ultron, he can't touch her because she is stealthy. So I'm just going to move him. Ooh, move her, I should say. Oh, I should have done something different here, but too late. Too late. So she's just going to go for here so that she's getting ready to interact with this here Doomsday device on her next turn. And she's done activating. The last activation for the first round is Ultron himself. Rolling his 4 dice first, he gets 3 plus to 1 because he is controlling 1 of the Doomsday devices. So after I resolve this, we'll be back. So you see what I rolled everything. So blank, shield, a hit, and a wild. After all is said and done, you can see the second large building is completely gone. And Ultron also has a victory point. So right now it's tied 2-2. It's a close race for this very first turn. My mind's just failing here. But now, that is everything that happened for Ultron, because there's nothing really else that he can do except for his 2 parts of activation. So once I do that, I'll be back and I'll explain what happened. With Ultron's programming, he moved up to confront Red Skull, who was both carrying Terrified Citizen and has damage on them. So Red Skull is sitting at 4 out of 5 wounds before he becomes dazed. And now Ultron's going, excuse me, hiccups again. Ultron's going to attack him with his, energy blast. So that's 7 dice going towards the Red Skull. Very bad. Very bad. And he gets, not that bad. I mean, not that good. He only gets 2 damage. Oh, is that all he got for his energy blast? Attack rolls 1 less attack. Yeah, he's not corrupt or anything. Yeah, so 2. So now Red Skull got to defend against his energy blast of 2. 3 energy defense. And it's 2 wilds and a shield, so he blocks it all. Red Skull is awesome. Red Skull completely just, I don't know where he came up with that, but he managed to block it all. But just letting you know now that what Red Skull could have done is he could have spent 3 of his power, but he don't have, or not 3, 2 energy, 2 power, but he don't have it anyhow, couldn't use it. But if he did, he would have been able to do what's called Hail Hodger, pick another character within range 2, and that becomes a line of sight. But if he did have the energy to do that, and Crossbones would do it, Crossbones only have 2 defense against energy attacks, so therefore Crossbones probably would have been in a little bit more trouble. So that's why the Red Skull decided to take the brunt of it all, and he managed to defend it all. That was a really good thing for Red Skull. And that will end Ultron's activation. There's 3. So this is the end of round 1. And now we're in the cleanup phase where I'm going to tally all the victory points, and when that is all done, I will be back. After all of the tallying is done for victory points, we're tied neck and neck at 3 victory points each, and we're going on to the second round. At the start of the second round, we have Red Skull. He is by a citizen because one of the dice rolled, I don't know if I said that, it dropped them. So there's a drop token there and a drop token there and a drop token here too as well. Captain America got that afterwards. Whew, this is tough. So I'm thinking what is probably the best thing to do is the Red Skull is going to spend a power to interact with that citizen token. Where's the Red Skull's card? There he is. Because he only has 1 power that he could use, so he spends it. And he interacts by picking this up. And he's going to move now. Scratch that. The Red Skull is not going to do that. I just reset everything. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use Baron Zemo. And he is going to activate because he has speed of large. So you can definitely see here he's within range. So he's going to go up, spend his power to interact with that petrified or terrified citizen. Petrified I would be, because the simple fact is that Baron Zemo is, not Baron Zemo, but Ultron's pretty dangerous. But he spent the power. That was 1 action to move. He used that to pick it up to interact. Now he's going back to home base. Just like that. Woo! Not even on camera. And he's dropping that citizen off for free. And that ends his activation. And the Crisis Team gets a victory point. You can see here, Crisis Team, victory point. Bam. Just like that. Next, we're going to activate Doc Ock. He's spending his power because he's within range 1. Pick up that citizen. That's only taking action. It's just he's doing it. And then he is going to move. His movement is medium. He's going to try to get as close as he can to the home base. So that was one action. Second action, you can see he's definitely within range. So he's just gonna scooch up here. I'm not even on camera. And it don't cost any energy or power to drop that off. So he drops it off. That is his second activation because he scoots up twice. And he dropped off the petrified or terrified citizen and gets another victory point for the crisis team. There you go, another one for the crisis team. Before we go on to the next turn, we are going to be activating. It's going to be the third and final one before Ultron activates. It's going to be the Red Skull, and he's going to play Disarm. And with this Disarm, it's a Team Tactics card. It says, when two allied characters are within 3 of the same enemy character, the allied characters may spend 1 each to play this card. The enemy character rolls 2 fewer dice on all attacks this round to a minimum of 1. So I'm just going to place that there just to remind me about that for him. But now I have to take energy off of both the Red Skull, 1 energy, and Crossbones is here, and he's going to spend 1 energy. So that's 2, so they're going to roll 2 fewer dice. Ultron's going to roll 2 fewer dice on attacks this round. On all attacks this round, which is going to be good. For the 2 actions of Red Skull, he just moved up 2 here, and that ends his activation. Now we're on to Ultron's turn. First off, he controls 1 of the Doomsday devices, so it's 4 dice he gets to roll. And I'll be back after I resolve all of this. After all is said and done, going over the dice, the only thing that really did anything was the Devastating Barrage, I think it's called. And with the Devastating Barrage, what happened is that Spidey, Doc Ock, and Baron Zemo took a wound, but got power with it too as well. And that's pretty much, Ultron is going to have to activate and do something now. During Ultron's activation, going through the programming step, what he's doing, he's going to move up to here, and he's going to interact with it, which means he turns it over to there, and he claims it for him instead of the crisis team. Oh no! Then Ultron is going to make an assault function, and is there 1 crisis team character within 2 of Ultron? Yes. The only one, because you can see there's nobody else within 2 of Ultron, is poor Crossbones. So Crossbones is going to be attacked by using Metallic Talons and the Folly of Man. Let's go to Dice Box and see what happens. Ultron's going to attack Crossbones now. He's using the Metallic Talons, but unfortunately, it's 6 dice, but because of that Team Tactic cards, it goes down to 4 to attack. And it is a physical attack. Oh boy, that's a crit. So Skull is gone, this is gone, and this is gone. So that's 1. We get to roll 1 more die. So that's 2 hits going to Crossbones and a physical attack. Crossbone got 4 physical defense. And he blocks the 2 easily. And you could just switch that over to that if you wanted to. So Crossbones definitely defend it. And that ends Ultron's activation. We're at the 3 more of the crisis team to activate. I think Captain America is going to go. So Captain America, he's carrying the Citizen. So he's going 1 for here. And you can definitely see he is within range. So he too is going to move up 2. And he's going to drop this Citizen off for a victory point. And that advances them to 6. So they are halfway there to winning so far. Next, for my second, the Black Widow is going to go up. You can see they're definitely within range because she has a range of large movement for her first action. And then she's going to interact with the size 5. No, that's not size 5. I said size 3 building. To try and find a citizen. And she definitely fails. There's the tokens so that you can't search there anymore. And that was her first action. Her second action. Ooh, what should Black Widow do for her second action? Should she just chill out here? Or should she go there and claim, because I get more victory? Actually, you know what? No, she's going to chill. She's going to stay exactly where she is, I guess. And that's going to end her activation. Then we need one more for the Crisis Team to activate. We are going to do Captain Marvel to activate. She's going to move here. And she's going to, I got the tokens in my hand. She's spending a power to interact, to claim that. And for her second action, I think she's just going to chillax where she is. And that's the second team activation of 3. Now we're on to Ultron's next activation. At the top of Ultron's second activation, he got extra dice running, so 3, and then he's controlling 2 of the Doomsday tokens, so that is going to be 5 dice. Now let's line this up. Whoops, that was a hit. That was a skull. I keep rolling. So I'll be back after I figure this out. But we got 3 crits, a hit, and a skull. After everything is said and done with the rolls for Ultron, Doc Ock, Spider-Man, and Baron Zemo both suffer 2 wounds each because Devastating Barrage twice, and they get power equal to that. And unfortunately, you have now this Doomsday token, and that Doomsday token is taken over by Ultron. So if he gets the one last one, which is right here, what's going to happen is the game is going to be over and Ultron is going to win because he sets up the Doomsday device and destroys the city. And you can see here the city is pretty close to being destroyed as it is. Whew, so now we got to activate Ultron. During the programming function and assault function, you can see programming function, Ultron has moved up here. He used his matter transference to get a little closer to there. And now for the assault function, Spider-Man unfortunately is the most wounded, and he's within the proximity of the energy blast, because it has to be within 4, definitely within 4, so Spider-Man is going to take the brunt of this attack. 7 dice, but because of the Team Tactics card played, they are only 5 dice instead. Okay, so that's gone, that's gone, that's gone, whoops, that's gone, and that's gone. Holy smokes! And that means Ultron totally flubbed on his roll, so Spider-Man is safe and Ultron is done his activation, his second activation. That is the end. Now we're on to the last 3 for the Crisis Team. We are going to activate Crossbones, and he's going to spend 1 power to interact with this Doomsday device, flip it over to their control, which is great. And then for his second activation, it's kind of hard, but I think what he's going to do, because he's a very slow guy, unfortunately, so he's just going to move, or his first activation, because that didn't cost anything, just power to do 1 action. And second action brings him into close proximity to the dumpster to do a search. So I'm going to put a search here, and this is a size 2, so 2 dice. Let's go dice box and see if he finds a terrified citizen. Here goes. And Crossbone finds a terrified citizen. Good job, Crossbones, for doing that search. It is done. Now we're to the second activation for the Crisis Team. Spider-Man is going to activate Spidey, and he is going to move his large for his first action. Ooh, just like that. See there. Now, is Spidey within 1 of that? Well, I don't know. I just don't know. Let's check it out. Oh, I kind of pushed it. So he's definitely within 1, just barely within 1. So Spidey is going to interact with that with the Doomsday device by spending 1 energy or 1 power to flip that over. We are denying so much of Ultron right now. Good job, Spider-Man! And for Spider-Man's second, he's just going to move large, continuing up this way. And he's going to spend his 1 power, because he has a couple of powers. Spider-Man's kind of been banking a little bit, I should say. So the 1 power, and we are going to roll, I think it's 2 dice. Yeah, it's a size 2 car, so we're going to roll 2 dice to see if he finds a citizen. You can do it, Spider-Man! And he gets fail. It's been searched. You can't do it, Spider-Man! And it's a red card just like you, your favorite color. Oh, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. What am I gonna do with you, Spider-Man? I really don't know. But in either case, that ends his activation. Last but not least is Iron Man to try to... All right, it's his turn to activate. He's going to do a search to see if he can find a citizen. This is size 2, so 2 dice. Let's go see what happens. 2 dice. He needs a wild or a crit. He gets a crit and a wild, so he finds a citizen. Good job, Iron Man. There you go. That wasn't even his actions. That was just him searching. So now he has 2 actions to go. That is where he moved for his 2, just to kind of get up closer, but try to keep a distance from Ultron. That ends Iron Man's activation, and that is the third one, the third activation for the Crisis team. Now we're on to Ultron's last activation. 5 dice, 3 for the Doomsday Council. He's controlling 2 now instead of 3. So they're okay, they're doing all right. So let's see what happens. And you can see we have a skull, a wild, a blank, a skull, and a crit. After I do this, I'll be back. After all is said and done, what happens is that Doc Ock, Baron Zemo, and Cap takes both a power as well as a wound each. So therefore, Baron Zemo is at 4, Doc Ock is at 4, and Cap is at 1. And on top of that, another thing that happens is that another train has exploded. And it's the one that was the largest because everything else didn't happen. So it's totally gone, just like that. Bye-bye, see you later. And a citizen is dropped right here. So luckily it's right by the Black Widow for when she does her turn, unless he comes in to steal it from her. It's dropped. Remember, it's dropped. It's not on the base. Uh-oh. All right, so that is it. Now we are on to Ultron's actual 2 actions. For Ultron's activation, the first thing is there a character holding a terrified citizen within 5? And you can see there it was Ultron, so we advance medium to here. And then you would say to go to an assault function, and it says, is there one team, Crisis team character within 2 of Ultron? You can see Iron Man is there, and he's also holding the terrified citizen. So Ultron is going to make an attack using metallic talons, targeting the character, and he also uses Follow Man. So blanks counts towards Ultron's attack. But you can remember this Team Tactics card is in play, so it's 2 less attack dice. And again, it says fewer dice, 2 fewer attack dice for the round for a minimum of 1. So this is still the same round. So here goes, he gets him for 1. That's not too bad. Not too bad. And it is a physical attack. When I say 1, he's got the 1 crit, and the blank counts as a hit. So now we have to roll for Ultron 1 more die, and he gets a hit. So that is 3 hits in total. And Iron Man's physical defense is 4. Yes, 4. I had to double check that. So 4 physical defense against 3 hits. I'm just moving that out of the way. And he defends the 3 hits because the wilds will change to shields. And that means Iron Man takes diddly. And that, my friends, is Ultron's activation. And now that is the 3rd activation for Ultron. And we are going on to round number 3. But first, we got to do the cleanup. We'll do the cleanup. We'll be back to talk about victory points. But right now, as it stands, both tied 6-6. It's a very, very, very tight game going on. Absolutely insane how close this fight is. Right now, again, after we did all the cleanup for the tally, we are both sitting at Ultron, and the Crisis team is sitting at 8. It's anybody's game. So we're going to reset everything, go on to the next round, which is round number 3. On to round number 3, and starting off this time is going to be none other than Iron Man. So what Iron Man is deciding to do here is he is going to move his medium. It's kind of hard shooting him with one hand and, you know, doing that sort of stuff. So medium. His second one is going to be another medium, which will bring him to here. I'm not on camera here. And he's just dropping it off for a victory point. Don't have to spend any energy for that. So another terrified citizen is home safe. And that brings the Crisis team up to 9. Ending Iron Man's activation. Next, Crisis team member to activate. Black Widow is going to activate next. And it's going to be pretty simple what she's going to do. She's going to spend her 1 power to interact and pick up that poor, terrified civilian. For her first action, then, she's going to move large. I'm just leaving that citizen there for now. That's one action. And her second action, you can see that she is definitely in range to get up the home base. So she's going, ooh, just like that. But the problem is with her doing that, she's going to be within 3 range of Ultron that he might be able to make an attack and hit her, because she's very close to, actually no, she's not, she's still good. But now, drop this off, boop, like that, and looking at another victory point for the Crisis team. We have 2 to go, we're so close. Last activate before Ultron activates this round is going to be Spider-Man. He's in base contact with that, so he is going to try to do a search for the citizen, so he's paying his 1 power to do a search. 2 dice, because it is a size 2. He does need a wilder crit, and you can... he failed. And I think Spider-Man is just going to relax where he is. Spider-Man has failed miserably to search yet again that car. I'm wondering if he's probably thinking it might be just empty. I don't know though, he might just try one more time. We'll see. But now we're on Ultron's turn. Ultron, 5 dice because he got the 3 plus the 2 devices that he controls. Doomsday devices. I'll be back after I resolve this, but just so we know, it's a blank, a skull, a hit, a crit, and that was a shield. I resolved all the dice for Ultron. Oh, it's very horrible. So let's talk about what happened here. So Crossbones has dropped one of the citizens because of the dice roll that Ultron did. And on top of that, Doc Ock, Baron Zemo are dazed. And Cap took a wound. That is absolutely bonkers how much stuff, and he didn't even activate yet. So during that, he's got two of them dazed, and it dropped the citizen token, and then we have to go on to the activation for Ultron. First step for Ultron's activation is pretty much he's moving over, told me to move over because he's out of range 5 of one that he don't control. So this is the one that you don't control instead of range 5, so he moved his medium, and then he did his matter transference and moved there. So now we have to look about the assault. After all is said and done, Ultron is going to be attacking Iron Man with his energy blast. 7 whopping dice going towards Iron Man. So shield don't work, blanks are gone. So he's got 2 of them, two crits, so he rolls those 2, that's a wall, that's another hit. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits going towards Ultron, and energy blast is energy, so let's see what Iron Man can defend here. 5 hits going in, and he blocks nothing. So he gets 5 total hits, Iron Man does. I think Iron Man is dazed now, if I'm not mistaken. You can see here, Iron Man don't have any damage on him, but it's 5, so it definitely dazes Iron Man. So Iron Man is getting flipped over to his wounded side, and he has done his activation, and Ultron has done his activation, and Iron Man is dazed. Iron Man got the dazed token, and that ends Ultron's first activation, and we are on to the team. But you can see here, there's not many to activate here. This is really getting scary. Going to activate none other than the Red Skull. He's paying his 1 power to flip that back over. So it is now under their control and that's not an action, that's just an interaction. Red Skull's first activation, I don't have to make it because his movement is medium, but he's going to go here, and he's going to try to do a search. He has some energy because he got 3 of them. He's going to spend 1 to interact, so it gives him 2 left, and now we have to see if he's going to roll 2 dice and see if he gets if he finds one of the terrified citizens. 2 dice, and it's a fail. Just when we need it, it's not going to help. So he's just going to stay there. That's it. He's done. Second activation is going to be Crossbones, and he's going to pay his 1 power to pick up this terrified citizen, and he's going to play a Crisis Power card, Crisis Tactics card. He's going to play Extreme Conditioning, Unaffiliated Reactive. When a character begins to move, begins a move action during the activation, because that's what he's going to do, he may spend 2 power to play this card. If the active character advances, it may use the large movement tool for this movement. Now remember, he has that on, so he can only move once per activation, but he's going to move large. He ends his turn on the corner of the sidewalk, and unfortunately he don't have any other energy, so he can't really do anything else, so that is going to end Crossbones activation. The only one left to activate for the Crisis team is none other than Captain Marvel. And she is within 1, so she's going to spend 1 power to flip this over to their side. That didn't count as one of her activations. So now what is she going to do I don't really know what she can do because it's such a tight race. She needs to get another citizen and get up there, but she's not that fast. She's medium, so she's kind of like a standard movement, I guess. She has flight, though. I'm thinking she's going to go here. So this is 1 action. And does she have any other power? She don't have any more energy. So what she's going to do is she's just going to stay there. Actually, I'm going to move her back here, just so she's a little bit more outside of Ultron's attack range, hopefully, and she's moving there and she's ending her turn. Now it's on to Ultron's second activation. This is going to be a fun 2 rounds because Ultron pretty much has run of the table now because there's no other Crisis team members to activate because they all activated. So now Ultron can do his both activations. Let's roll dice for the first one first. He don't control any of the Doomsday devices. So he just rolls a 3, and we'll be back after we do that. Oops, I hit that there wrong. So it's 2 hits and a skull. All the results are adjusted, and pretty much the only thing that really happened was Crossbones has dropped the terrified civilian or citizen, and also one of the Doomsday Councils has been switched over to control by Ultron. Now, what I'm going to do to save time is I'm going to go through Ultron's all movement and then roll his dice to his second times, and then I'll be back just to try to cut everything down. After the last 2 activations of Ultron and rolling the dice and so on and so forth, what happens is you can see there's no terrifying citizen right here anymore because Ultron has pretty much consumed it. And on top of that, Cap got an extra wound and power, and so did the Black Widow. And that's pretty much all what happened. That was exciting, and that's it. So now we're on to the next round. I think it's maybe round 4 or 5. I can't remember at this point because it's just a lot of things are happening. But anyhow, the first thing to activate is going to be one of the Crisis teams, and hopefully it's going to be either Spider-Man or Red Skull that is going to find the citizen. We'll be back. Before we go on any further with the game, for this is probably going to be the last round, but you can see the Crisis team is at 10 and the Ultron is at 11. So it's such a close race. Let's continue. Spider-Man's activating first, and he has to roll to see if he can get a crit or a wild. He paid the power of the 1, now he rolls the 2. Crit or wild, come on Spidey, you can do it this time. He fails yet again. That is searched. So his first action, he's going to move to here. And now he is going to spend the 1 remaining power he has and flipping that over to that. And I think he's going to just stay there. He's done. Captain Marvel is going to activate. She's activating for the second one, and she's going to a search 2 as well with the size 2, and hopefully she's going to get something. Size 2, she needs a crit. Oh, she got it! She got it! This could be the end of the game. She then moved up her 2 movement for her action. Oh, actually, she can't do that because she only picked up. She can only move a movement of 1 when she has. Oh, this is. I think I got to change her movement. So let's move her a little further instead. So she'll be here instead. So she's going to go there. And she has the citizen. And the reason why she can only move 1 because it states in the rule book that you can only move 1 when you're carrying a citizen. This is probably going to be problematic. She could be so close. But for a second, actually, I got to figure this out. She can't really do anything else. She don't want to chance it, so she's staying there. And that ends her activation. We need 1 more to activate for the side of the Crisis team. Red Skull is going to activate. He's going to do pay the power to search to hopefully find one of the terrified citizens. So there's the power. Let's see if he does it. 2 dice. He got it! Now he has to try to make a way back to here. But he only has a movement of medium. And I don't have a Team Tactics card that will help him. I picked up the citizen and I moved to medium. But unfortunately, the Red Skull cannot continue moving. Because when you are holding the citizen, like I said, you can only move once during your activation, unfortunately. Because he's so close to finishing the game. But yet, so far. Second activation, he can't really do much. So he's just going to chill where he is. We are now on to Ultron's first activation, so let's roll the 3 dice because he does not own any or control any of the Doomsday devices. So it's just 3 dice he gets to roll because of the difficulty level set at the beginning of the game. Here goes. All right, so we will resolve this and we'll be back. Now, because we're resolving it only counts as 1 blank, so it's a blank or a skull. And it counts as, I just read this, secondary power reserve. So with that, you can see here with secondary power reserve, I was doing this the whole time. Ultron Master Metal gains 1 victory point when he rolls this result. So therefore, he was sitting at 11 victory points, and it gives him 1 more. And as it does state that as soon as he hits the 12 or the other team, I'm just kind of lost for words here because I'm playing against myself and I beat myself. Yeah. Anyhow, so Ultron does win. He managed to set off all 4 Doomsday devices, set them off, and explode the entire city, and that ends the game. There you have it, Board Game Maniacs. I hope you liked this very first episode of Super Saturday for the new shooting format starting January of 2021. If I make any rules mistakes, please comment down below, refer to page number and timestamp the video to let us know exactly where we went wrong. So whoever's watching this will learn from your comments as well as myself too as well. And believe me, I need all the help I can get. I hope you enjoyed this All Is Metal, the Ultron, what is it called? All Is Metal, something, something, something. My brain is just fried right now. And the reason why is because I've lost. I thought it was so close. I only needed 2 more victory points. But they made that stipulation that you cannot move twice when you are carrying a citizen. So therefore, Ultron wins. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next Super Saturday to play another game. It may be Marvel Crisis Protocol. It may be Kick-Ass, or it may be Batman, the miniature game. Who knows? We'll see you next time. And most importantly of all, and that is, be a maniac. Stay safe. Don't forget about our Patreon account. And we'll see you on the flip side. Bye. Bye. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to keep up to date with Board Game Maniacs, click on the like and subscribe button to be notified when more videos come available. If you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs. Or you can go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1. That's right, and you can donate to help keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies, and play more games. We'll purchase more games, more equipment to make Board Game Maniacs evolve and get bigger and larger because of you, the viewers. I thank you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head for all of your support. And until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac.